more data does not make you more money.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the eComm Growth Show.
Do I say hi now or do I wait?
I'm pretty much brain fried at this point.
Let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the eComm Growth Show. I'm Robert Stafford, and this is Daniel. Just kidding. I said that wrong. I'm Daniel Stafford.
Robbie Switzer.
And guys, we're excited for today. First, let me just say, if you're watching, sorry for all the cups on the table. That's probably distracting, but Joe Rogan does it, so will we. But we are the company that takes Shopify stores from $100K a month to $1 million a month using the brand velocity framework. If you're not there yet, we have free training, resources, ways to get you there. If you are there and you want to work with us, you know what to do. You'll find us. Rob, what are we talking about today, dude?
Yeah, I like that lead in because it's exactly what we're talking about, because everything shifts after you get to 100K a month. And so what you focus on, your strategies, everything you do changes. And we've said that over and over, what got you here won't get you there. But, there's this story that I like to tell.
I like this one.
So when the rocket ship is heading up into space, and don't fact check me on this because I just heard it once and I'm repurposing it here, but apparently there's these rocket boosters that are like massive fuel tanks, but also massive propulsion units. And it takes everything they have to boost that rocket ship up and through the atmosphere. Well, once they break through the atmosphere, those booster ships, those fuel tanks, those jets, whatever they are, those break off. And then the ship is in orbit. And then from there, it's just these little like spurts of, direction, but it's up in the atmosphere. So it's like, doesn't take that much. And, I liken it to the process of going from 100K as a Shopify store and then just kind of making.
You mean
those
going
small,
to 100K?
Yeah, because I think that's the challenging part. There's a lot of unknowns there where it's like, will my Shopify store ever take off? Because there's a lot that start and fail. It's not a great success rate.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
It's like, getting full validation, getting some marketing to work. And oftentimes what it looks like, Dan, is, finding one strategy that really works, finding good product market fit, and just kind of scaling that as hard as you can.
Yeah, totally. Which will get you to a certain point, but after a while that fatigues, burns out, kind of like your boosters do, and it's time to let those go.
Yeah.
And now focus on new strategies that's going to get you to your actual destination.
Totally. And here's the thing, if you're not aware of that, because here's what happens is like they'll start falling off and stop working regardless of if you want them to.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like you blast through the atmosphere. It's like, holy crap, my ads are broken. I can't get any higher than where I was wanting to go. And the truth is those were never meant to take you any further than just through the atmosphere, just through the 100K a month mark. And maybe, there's a range there, right? But inevitably, if you're going to make the leap to 7 figures a month and beyond, there needs to be a fully fleshed out strategy. And one of the main points that I would like to make, because we're kind of talking about the metrics that matter beyond 100K a month, is that if you're at just 100K a month, you're very single channel focused and very return on ad spend focused. That's right. But to get to $1 million a month, you need to go multi-channel. Mm-hmm. And if you're trying to compare apples to oranges to pears to tangerines, all these different return on ad spends with different attribution windows from different channels, and then make sense of your budget, like you're just going to run yourself around in circles.
It's not going to make sense. But you're right. People that got to that point are like, man, I know my return on ad spend on Facebook and Instagram was at a 3X. I scaled that. Now I'm trying to go multi-channel. Nothing else is reporting 3X. Facebook's not anymore. And it all seems broken and kind of a cluster. So once people actually start implementing more channels, how do they go about looking at their metrics differently from when they were only looking at a single channel saying, I'm getting a 3X?
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool tools for this. But it's just being able to pull in. So I would say you really got to zoom out and look at just the efficiency of your marketing dollars as compared to your overall revenue.
That's right.
And that's where you're looking for the 3X. Not necessarily in one channel, and run your own numbers. Like for some people it's 2, some people it's break even. It's for some people it's like, if I'm not making 4.5 or 5, I'm going out of business. So run your own numbers, but you need a tool that provides that data orchestration, pulls it all into one place, and then allows you to customize it and really navigate, what your metrics are. And then from there, data is like, we say this all the time, more data does not make you more money.
That's right.
Using data properly to make the right decisions is actually what does. And so if you don't know what your North Star metrics are, then there's no point in spending all this time and energy collecting data.
Yeah.
And we've done full trainings on that. And in fact, I would even like to say, if somebody wants to see the North Star metrics that we use, we have some version of that free, right? In our Facebook group.
Yeah, but I like what you're saying about the MER, marketing efficiency ratio, because this is something once bigger brands are growing, this is something they're always looking at and taking into account. And they're not just looking at single channels like you've been saying, but what's my overall marketing efficiency? So you kind of have to change your perspective as you're growing. With more to lose, are you okay with risking more? From a marketing perspective, it actually gets easier, right?
Totally.
And that's kind of what you said, as you're out in the atmosphere. Now the going's a little easier because you found your niche, you found what works.
Yeah.
Now it's about expanding and growing to get to your destination.
Totally. And I would say if you're past that 100K a month mark, you already have a very good roadmap of what will work. You have insights from, maybe what you validated on Facebook and Instagram that you can then carry over to another platform. Now you're not going to copy and paste it, but at scale, you just have so many more resources to be testing stuff more frequently. You have resources to put into getting a team in place, and everything just moves faster, and you have more learnings, you have more data, and it's kind of like the flywheel effect, right? Where it's really hard to get it going in the beginning, but then it picks up momentum, and then it's just like those little taps get it going faster and faster and faster. And that's kind of what we see when it comes to making that shift from single channel, 100K a month, to now going multi-channel and being this 7-figure a month brand.
Yeah, totally. And getting to 100K a month, like the brand validation phase is so hard because there's so much competition, so much more fierce at the smaller levels. But once you have your audience built out and the right people, you find your niche, scaling becomes a lot easier. But even like prior sub 100K months, like who is my audience? How can I even tap into them?
Well, and not only that, you have 100 other people asking the same question.
Totally.
Right?
That's right.
And so that's where they say competition is so fierce, because there's like so many people trying to break into one target audience, and then there's a few that actually do and start to own it. And that's kind of, when we parallel that against the revenue, that's kind of like the 100K a month mark.
Totally. So you're kind of scraping by tooth and nail to find your niche, to carve out your lane. But then moving to $1 million a month, it's more about systems, right? And optimizations. You can have an aggressive and scalable holistic growth strategy and expansion plan that allows you more budget for more testing, where you don't care if you're losing bits here and there. You're not like, I need to make this one ad work or I'm going out of business.
Yeah, totally. And so our system, we kind of talk about the brand velocity growth system, and it's very specifically designed to build relationship with equity with the customers, and also be withdrawing equity and growing month over month, year over year. And so really we hinge upon around like 6 different things. So it's brand, content, website, acquisition, retention, and data. And so if you're not optimizing all of those systems to work together, it's actually going to lead to distrust. And this is like kind of marketing 101. You can't have different messages going out to different people on different channels. It just gets very confusing, and a confused buyer never buys. And so when we talk about optimizing systems, at least from the marketing end, there's a lot you can do to just bring in continuity into your marketing efforts. But then you don't stop with just marketing. That actually makes its way into the fulfillment, what notes, what packaging are you putting in there? Right. And then I think that is a really big hurdle that a lot of people don't see coming is just the optimizing of fulfillment systems and
Totally.
you know, being able to build a team as you're growing, building a plane while you're in flight, basically.
Yeah, of something that can handle your new growth essentially, and something that will handle more marketing dollars, because it kind of starts falling apart if it's just you in the garage every day shipping out orders.
Totally. And what that looks like very realistically for people is it's like, I have to shut down ads because I just ran out of inventory. Well, it's like, well, you can plan for that, and you need to if you're going to be having that growth month over month.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people, honestly, Rob, that are at like $250,000. They're doing $250K a month, but they're still wearing all the hats, and they're so burned out, dude. And I just want to say this for the CEOs watching: you can't wear all the hats anymore at this point. You have to start outsourcing. You have to start building a team. A lot of brands too grew and built the wrong type of team, and now they're at that scale trying to afford to keep on their employees, and they're not profitable anymore, which can go back to a lot of times a sales and marketing problem, because they're spending money on old marketing things that aren't relevant and working anymore. So now they're not profitable.
And that, I'd say that point is very it's easier said than done, right?
It is,
because we've been there. We've worn every single hat, from the billing department to sales to fulfillment, whatever. We've done everything. And so as you start building it, there's a certain joy that comes with it, a certain freedom, but it's really hard if you have your baby and it's working, to like give somebody a piece of that who's probably not as good at it as you are at times. Sometimes you strike gold and you're actually putting people in place that can take it farther and faster than you can. But oftentimes that doesn't happen overnight.
You got to train.
You got to train them. You got to get them in there, and then you have to actually empower them in their strengths. But it's a difficult thing, because you have so many things coming against you, whether it's like, I need to do this all by myself, or I really liked it when are you going to trade a little bit of profitability for a little more scale, giving up control. It's a big thing for entrepreneurs, definitely. And I would just leave you with this thought: if you are irreplaceable in your own business, you are actually a liability. You know what happens if you get sick for a couple months?
Totally.
Is the whole business going to go down the drain?
Probably.
So plan accordingly. If you can optimize your systems to be prepared for randomness, then you're just like building from a place of strength.
So ask yourself, how can I make this happen? What's my team look like? The skeleton crew marketing team versus the F1 pit crew. Do I need to be finding bolt-on functions that can be very helpful, which are very helpful, you know, as you're growing, where you don't have to build it all out internally. Bolt-on, something we still use. Obviously, a lot of our clients use it because we're bolt-on, but do you have the right operators in place to grow to the next level? And that could be a CMO, media buyers for specific channels, growth strategists, a whole creative team, social media team, CRO experts, SMS, and email marketers, etc., which is pretty full-on marketing department all of a sudden, right? That's a lot to just build out.
Totally. And I just want to plug ourselves there, because that's exactly what we do. We provide everything done for you from a marketing perspective. If you're trying to get to that $1 million a month, like, we're your team, we'll handle all of that for you. But I would say, just specifically in a time where we don't know what, you know, the next couple quarters are going to look like, we don't know what the economy is going to do. We actually really like having bolt-on functions in our business. You know, for e-commerce store owners, that might be your marketing, that might be strategic partnerships with logistics and fulfillment. It might be just your accounting team, your tax team, whatever that might be. It's really valuable to have people to call when things are shaken economically, to be like, you know what, I don't have the wherewithal or the long-term vision to really build this out in-house. You know, maybe now's a good time to just kind of bolt this function onto my business, experience the growth, and develop the resources to be able to do that from a place of strength.
Yeah, that's so good, dude, because even as I'm looking at the list of everything you need to build out, let's just say each salary here is $5K a month, which is very conservative. You're looking at like $50,000 a month just to build out an internal marketing team, you know, that can get you where you need to go, multi-channel, run everything smoothly, and keep everyone on the same page, you know, because that's one thing that's super important as you are going about this, is just consistency with your brand and across all the different marketing channels.
Totally.
So some of the key attributes that you should be looking for in a team, though, is innovation. Are they innovating? Are they always testing? Can you trust them? I know that goes without saying, but it's a big deal. Like, can you actually trust your team? And are they proactive? And then just again, because I think it's worth saying again, is you just have to learn to let go. Stop working in your business and start working on it.
Yep, totally. And I want to touch on the proactive part. There was a conversation we had internally, and this thing I think really struck us all to the core, even me personally, where it's like, if somebody has to ask for an update, you have already failed. And so it's like, all the time, people working with agencies, freelancers, or even their own internal team, it's like, where are we at? Are we seeing progress? If you're having to ask them for those things and they're not leading the conversation for you, like, they're probably not your team.
Yeah.
And so it's a convicting thing, because I think we all do it. But just that communication piece, being proactive, really leading the marketing and sales strategy is just so important when it comes to getting to 7 figures and beyond every single month.
Yep, totally. Good stuff, dude. Sweet. Well, Rob, I think that's it from my perspective, just talking about what metrics matter. What are you looking at once you go to multi-channel? And I think it just comes down to understanding your North Star metrics. Again, we can share ours with you guys if you're interested, so you can plug those into your business. But then just understanding your marketing efficiency ratio as a whole. How much money am I putting into all my marketing, as opposed to how much am I getting back in return?
Yep, totally. And I would say we just briefly touched on what those North Star metrics are. The easiest way to get those is going to be just to head over to Facebook and go look for our free Facebook group, 7-Figure Shopify Secrets, and just join that group and just ping me a DM and I'll shoot it your way.
Perfect, dude. Well, Rob, case study before we wrap this up, or should we skip it?
Yep. So if you get everything right, if you're able to do this, if you're finding those efficiencies of scale, even when other people are facing challenges with ads breaking, iOS 14, cost of goods being sold, going through the roof, there's still stuff like this where, we had a client go from $155K a month to over $1.8 million a month. And this brand specifically, and I say this just to build hope, right?
Yeah,
because I think there's a lot of people that are feeling a little bit hopeless. I mean, when your ads crash, when your rocket boosters fall off, like, that's pretty dang discouraging. But just understand, like, there's a different system to go about this once you get to that point.
Yeah.
And so anyways.
So what got them there was a Facebook media buyer and an organic community manager, essentially, right?
Yep.
Got them to that point.
Totally.
Boom, rocket boosters come off. We plugged them into the brand velocity team, where they got a growth marketing manager, media buyers for Facebook, Google, and TikTok, an email and SMS marketing specialist, and a creative strategist. And that took them to the moon.
Yep. Just the whole complete team to be able to execute a strategy that's actually going to get them there. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. There's a lot of really cool metrics that we could kind of like break apart in there, but I just kind of want to leave it at that.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.